Hi guys, I'm going to set up elevons on this flying wing. After trying and failing, I looked around the internet for a method. I didn't find any approaches other than keep swapping things until it works type of approach. I really don't like that sort of approach, and in this video I want to suggest a logical procedure that will enable you to easily set up your wing or VTOL plane. This is a new radio for me, and I've been out of the hobby for something like 20-25 years. I've just picked up RC flying again. I have a 6-channel lemon receiver in this plane, but all we are controlling here are the elevons, ailerons and elevators mixed together. The radio has a standard program for elevons using channel 1 and 2. As it is right now out of the box, it's set up with a 50% mix on both channels. The final output of channel 1 equals channel 1 plus channel 2, and the output on channel 2 equals channel 2 minus channel 1. That's all visible in the transmitter. So basically, my approach is to start with the elevon mode turned off. I then want to identify which servo is activating the ailerons as the aileron master, and likewise confirm which one is the elevator master. I then move on to look at the servo directions, and finally I look at the mixing. I found this to be a straightforward, logical method. Let me turn the radio on. We've connected to the receiver, and the radio is set up with elevon functions turned off. We're ready to test and see which surfaces are controlled by which servo. Clearly here the aileron master is controlled on this side, and the elevator is controlled on the right-hand side. So now let's look at the direction each servo is moving, just as you would do for a standard airplane. Look at the direction if I move the stick to the right. Clearly the aileron master is moving in the wrong direction. And if I pull back on the stick, I'm going to climb, and if I push forward on the stick, I'm going to dive. So the elevator servo is moving correctly. So let's go and adjust the aileron servo so that it moves in the correct direction. Here I am in the servo setup, and I can reverse the aileron servo. Let's back out of here. I still have elevon switched off. A retest shows the aileron servo is moving in the correct direction. And a recheck on the elevator, when I pull back, the nose is still going to come up, and when I push forward, the nose is going to dive. Okay, so now we're ready to turn on the elevon function. I'm set up channel 1 and channel 2 at 50%, the standard formula. Moving the stick to the right, I can see I'm going to lift this wing and go to the right. That's perfect. And when I pull back, the nose is going to come up, and when I push forward, it's going to dive. So as simple as that, I've set up the flying wing. Now I'm going to go through the setup again, where the outcome is that you need to use minus 50% in the elevon mix to make it work. And I'll do this by swapping the servo leads on the receiver. I'm going to put ailerons onto channel 2 and the elevator on channel 1. Now we're ready to go with the second setup. Elevons are turned off. When I move the aileron stick, the right-hand servo is now controlling the aileron function. So the right-hand side now is the aileron master. And when I pull back on the stick, the left-hand side is clearly the elevator master. Now we're going to check the direction of the servos. I'm going to continue to focus on the aileron first. If I look at that motion of the aileron, I can see that it must be reversed. In fact, when I look here and pull back on my stick, the elevator servo is also backwards. Let's go to the servo setup and reverse the aileron servo on channel 1. Checking what we have done, we move the aileron stick to the right, and the lift on the right-hand wing is being broken by the aileron coming up, and that wing is going to drop, and the left-hand wing will lift up and it'll swing around to the right. Checking the elevator, it is still wrong, but we're going to fix that by changing the mix to minus 50% on channel 2. So we go into the model setup and go down to elevons and set elevons to on. And if we check it right now, we will see that the aileron motion is correct. But checking the elevator, we can see that that part of the equation is still wrong. So let's go into the elevon setup. You've always got to watch pretty carefully what you do here. Okay, channel 2, we want to reduce this to minus 50%. Having done that, let's make a final check. If I move the aileron to the right, I want the plane to swing to the right. I've got lift on the left-hand wing and broken lift on the right wing. When I pull back on the stick, this plane is going to go up, and when I push forward on the stick, it's going to dive. So there you have it. This is a sequence that at least makes sense to me. The first way I did it, where the aileron channel is in channel 1, is the right way to start your setup. But if your aeroplane is in some other setup, as you've seen in the second setup, we can resolve it by following these steps. First, we determined which servo was acting as the aileron master. We checked the aileron and elevator directions and found them both wrong. We then go to elevon setup and change the elevator servo to be a minus 50% mix. I hope this gives you a straightforward and logical path through the setup of elevons, and it should also work for retail mixing. I'd welcome any comments. Thanks.